Hey, so today we are going to set up a new brand in Canva. Now, I'm actually working in one of my clients' accounts today, the absolutely wonderful Creo Wealth. If you ever need financial advice, head over to them. But we are setting up a sub-brand within that brand. So what we're going to do, we've already got our brand set up for Creo Wealth, but what we're going to do is head down to brand here, and then we're going to go to brand kits. Once we're in brand kits, we are going to create an entirely new one. So we are going to name this one the Money Brew. Create. There we go. So now we have a blank brand kit sitting there. So over on my other screen, which you can't see unfortunately, is all of our logos for the new brand. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to grab them all because I have them all in one spot, and I'm going to drag them straight into there, and we'll see them start to upload. So we can see there we've got our white logos, we've got our darker logos there. And what else do I have here? I have some icons. So because we've got some custom icons for this brand, we're going to pop them. We're actually going to skip ahead a little bit just because I am dragging and dropping, and in that flow, I'm going to drag and drop some of our custom icons straight into the icon section, and they're going to upload as well. What else do I have in this brand kit? I have some social icons as well. So I'm going to add some new social icons in there too. So I'm going to, yep, I am able to drag those there, even though those ones are still going, or I could have just hit add new and upload icons there. All right, so we're starting to get all of our branding assets all in one spot, which is lovely. What else have I got here? Oh, I've got some graphics that are custom. Now, these are kind of logos. They're kind of the logo stamp or the logo mark for the brand, but I'm going to pop them into graphics as opposed to icons or logos because we might use them a little less often, and I'd like to keep the logos section just for that. Now, what else do I have in this brand kit? I've got some patterns for us to use that I'm also going to pop into graphics there. And this is a really lovely brand kit. I've got a couple of banners and profile pics that they've done ready to go as they were doing the branding up. It makes my life easier. I don't have to make them. Fantastic. And I think that is just about it for this one. I've got some print collateral in there, but they're PDFs, and I'm not gonna pop them into here for now. I do have a bunch of photos for this brand as well, but for now I'm not going to do that. I'm going to add our colors in. So for our colors, I'm going to pull up the PDF of the brand guide, which is in a different spot, of course, because it's me. All right, here's the PDF of our brand guide, which has all of those little bits and pieces that you just saw, along with our brand colors there. So I'm just going to move that over to the other screen so that I can sort of flick between. I'm going to hit add new. Now, one way you can do this is you can add palette. No, normally, haven't seen this in, there you go, extract color palette from any of the images. Now, sometimes it gets it just ever so slightly wrong when it does that, because it's sort of using an eyedropper type tool to grab the colors. So if I've got the color palette from the brand kit, I'll just type them in myself. Sorry. Our first one here is going to be a slightly off-white, which is a FC. Now, I like to actually name them the hex code because if I'm ever working outside of Canva and I want to know really quickly what the brand colors are, the hex code is already underneath the color. So all I have to do is quickly click on the brand kit, or if I'm already in a design, I can go and see my colors, and the code is already there ready for me to either copy and paste or retype somewhere else. If you're only working with one brand, I actually do recommend putting the whole brand guide this thing, or at least the color section of it, up on your wall in front of you so that you've always got those hex codes to refer to. Now, because I work with about 10 brands at any one time, I don't do that. I prefer to do it this way just so I can always see the hex code there. And it also starts to slowly get into your brain if you're seeing it constantly. If you see the code constantly, you may end up actually remembering it after time. So for my next one, I'm going to go, what are we? 4C3A36. Again, I'm going to name it the hex code. I'm going to add my next one, which is is that an 8? Yep, 8 BBA0. Yep, that looks right. Name it the hex code. Now we've got like a nice sort of latte colour. It's a really pretty colour, actually. D9CCB9. Add another one. This one's like a dusky pink. It is I think that's a BB. BB3B2. Yep. And unfortunately, the PDF that I'm working off doesn't let me copy and paste, so I am retyping these, but sometimes you'll be able to just copy and paste the hex code in. A9CECE. And that is our final color there. So we've got our colors now. We've got our logos in here for the Money Brew. I'm not going to put our fonts in here yet because we are actually still choosing fonts for this particular brand. So I'm going to leave them. But when you do have your fonts, you can go in, you can choose the font, you can upload your own font. You do need Canva Pro for that one, or your account needs Canva Pro for that one. But if you do have a custom font for your brand, as opposed to one of the ones that is already in Canva, you can upload it there, which I've done for a couple of my brands. And you can also choose the size, whether it's bold, italics, whatever it might be there as well. And you can set all of your fonts for the brand. Now, I would actually set all of them because I do find that in different circumstances, I mean, usually I'll only be using heading, subheading, and body, but occasionally I'll use some of the others, and it's good just to already have them done. Brand voice. This one is either really handy if you're working in a team and you want the team to be able to see a summary of your brand voice quite regularly. So your brand voice, there's a whole other module on that, but your brand voice is kind of how you speak, your brand personality, what words we use, what words we avoid, what phrases we like, how we spell things. Is it Australian spelling? Is it American spelling? All of that sort of stuff can go in there. And that way, if you are using any of the AI features within Canva, especially to correct any of your copy or to add copy from scratch, or summarize things, that kind of thing, it has an idea of your brand voice. Now, it's not perfect yet, which is why I typically haven't been bothering with it too much, but the feature is there, and it is quite nice for your team to be able to come in and just always have that there. You know, it could be some of your values-based stuff there as well. So, you know, we value speaking with kindness. We value not using a lot of jargon or acronyms or abbreviations, whatever it might be for your particular brand. But as I said, there's a whole section in the course on brand voice. So we will leave that now. With photos, I do have some photos for this brand, I do believe. Oh, we were seeing another brand there for a second. Let me have a look if I've got any photos that suit this particular brand straight up without any kind of editing. There we go. Yeah, some of these will work quite nicely. Okay, so there's, again, drag and drop. Now, when we're doing these, you can also go in and rename them so that if you ever want to do it, if you end up with heaps, like some of my brands have heaps and heaps and heaps of photos to choose from because they've had branding shoots done. People also might have product photos in here as well. So you can rename them, and then you can search based on that as well. You can also search based on the name of all of your other assets, so your icons and your graphics, while you're here as well. Now, charts is relatively new. If you are a brand that uses charts fairly often, and I will be adding this into the main Creo Wealth brand kit shortly, you can add in a chart style that you like to use fairly regularly. So I'll have a quick look at it here. All right, so it's just how, when, and where to use charts. That's your guideline there, and then adding in your colors, which would most likely be the same colors as up above. So there's not a lot of customization in there, but if you do use charts fairly regularly, rather than choosing from the templated ones that are already in there, they'll already look like your brand. So it's pretty handy, even though it is fairly new and not heavily featured, not feature heavy. There's the right words for today, but that's how you do it. So we might have, again, a couple more pictures to add in here, and we could start to name them. We could say, Kylie with book, or we could say Kylie on lounge, or Kylie with laptop in lounge room, or in house on rug, or whatever it might be, whatever's going to stick in your head to go and find them again. If you rename them, it does make it a little bit easier later. If you've got heaps, if you've only got a small handful of photos, it doesn't matter that much. So that is how to set up a new brand kit. As for how to use your brand kit, if you create I'm just going to create a new random Instagram post. Now, this post is automatically going to be under the Creo Wealth brand because that's the brand that I last used in this account. But I'm going to go over to brand here, see how it's got all of the normal Creo Wealth stuff in here. And I do have a brand voice in this one. If I click on the little down arrow here, I can actually select the new Money Brew brand. There we go. And I've got all of my assets there ready to use. Now, my brand templates are still the Creo Wealth ones. I haven't separated those out yet because we only just created the Money Brew, but I will be separating out the Creo Wealth brand templates and the Money Brew templates, just so that we've got our templates already ready to go. But even if I wanted to use, say, that template there, all I have to do is click on it to bring it in, and then I can go up to design. I know it seems a little counterintuitive, but I can go up to design. I can click over to styles, click that color palette, and it's changed it for me already. And I can keep clicking for different combinations. So I kind of like that one color-wise. I'd probably pull it down a touch because we've got a bit more contrast than we had with Creo. And I'd take that away and replace it with, back over to brand, replace it with a white one. Where's a white one? There's a white circular one with my Money Brew brand logo there. So there we go. So, and you can take any templates from the Canva library and do the exact same thing to add your brand. So, I might grab just a bit of a random one, that one there, replace that page. See, it's not in my brand at all. But if I go over to styles, click on that, I can again keep clicking on the color palette and changing it to different combinations of my brand colors. Again, I quite like that there. But that's how you start to use your brand. All of your bits and pieces are together in one spot. Again, we haven't done fonts, but usually when you go into styles, you'll have the option of the font for that one as well, but we don't have any yet for this particular brand. And the more you build it out, the easier you're going to find handling repetitive tasks in Canva is, or making sure everything remains on brand. One thing that I find a lot of people don't take advantage of within the brand is, within the brand is the photos section, and they add all of their photos into uploads. Now, if you're every time you want to add a new photo into Canva to use in one of your designs, if you think to yourself, is it likely that I will use this photo more than 2 or 3 times across this brand? Add it into your brand photos instead of into your uploads, because if you're anything like me, my uploads ends up a massive mess of a lot of things as well that I'm trying, or I just want to go see, and I very rarely actually clean that out. But if I've got a photo that suits the brand really well and it's not a stock photo, or even if it is, but it's a purchased one and you've got rights, it's easier to add it straight into the photos. That way you've got all of your brand-centric photos in one spot, along with the brand too. And, you can just sort of scroll through those as you need them and insert them directly to the canvas there. Anyway, if you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. But that is a little bit of a summary of how to add a new brand kit into Canva and a little bit of how to use it as well. So that is it for me today. I hope that was useful. Let me know if it was or wasn't, or if you've got any questions from that. Take care.